So we made it to the best, we discussed the average, now it's time to get dirty. I was lucky last year when not enough movies came out for me to suffer through the worst. Unfortunately, that ain't the case here. These are the bottom of the barrel, including one movie to really piss me off. Starting off my list, I didn't think much about this movie when I first saw it. However, after more viewings, I started to hate this movie more. That movie being Trolls. My first impression made it clear that the movie had visual style that could not outdo the story. You had 1,000,001 characters you're expected to like because they're colorful. And morals that any episode of the Care Bears can tell you. I look at the credits and saw the name of the gentleman who created these fad toys and thought to myself, was it worth it? Was it worth him selling his soul for a meaningless movie with little to no substance? Was it worth signing your name on a contract because some studio exec at DreamWorks thought, hey, you know that toy that was on my dad's desk growing up? I think it warrants a movie. I already talked about the major flaws with this film, but what made me hate this movie more was a current trend going on right now. When the Lego Movie came out, it was clear that movies based on toys can be just as smart and insightful as original movies. Now we're getting more movies, including this and an upcoming emoji movie that thinks taking a pre-existing license with originally little to no story or character and giving it self-aware humor will make it funny. Therefore, I fear we're going to end up back in the 80s where the focus stayed away from original titles to trying to sell more toys. And that's what makes me despise this movie more. It's a harbinger for something worse to come. Any movie that tries to take a Gorillaz song about drug use and make it for kids is beyond me. The funny thing about the number 4 film on this list is that every time I try thinking about it, I always forget that I've even seen it. Sometimes I'll finish the list and I'll see 4 selections and I think, wait, I saw that one and I did see... That's right! I did see Ratchet & Clank! Based on a popular video game franchise, I remember my gamer friends getting excited to see characters they grew up with finally get their own movie. Ironically, I didn't grow up with the game, so I didn't share those feelings. I did see the movie with a friend who was a fan of the series, and how did we react after we saw this? That happened. A day passed and I almost forgot the entire movie. It took me a few videos on YouTube to remember what it was I saw. None of the characters are interesting, all the jokes, cliches, and plot points have been done before, and even for a fan of the series, my friend was scratching his head at times. He said the characterizations were right, as well as the humor, but the one thing they were really lacking on was the big aspect of the game, were the guns. If shooting is a big aspect to the game and they don't include that, then that's a big problem. At least with the Angry Birds movie, they stuck to the qualities of the gameplay, which is destroying stuff, and having each bird have their own special power. It'd be like if they made a Super Mario movie without the power-ups, or a Sonic movie without the gems. I know this could have been just another passable experience, but its lack of effort in the story department couldn't rocket jump this movie to success. So much so that plans for other PlayStation games to get movies like Sly Cooper were put on hold. It's funny because I didn't really comment on the animation in this film, which was very much DVD quality, kinda like they just wanted to rush it into theaters. Like another movie I saw this year. Before I talk about this movie, I gotta ask a few questions. Robinson Crusoe. Really? Hollywood. You wanted to make an animated movie with talking animals with Robinson Crusoe? Does anybody even read Robinson Crusoe anymore? I don't even think kids today know about the Swiss Family Robinson, and that was the family-friendly version of Robinson Crusoe. I know this doesn't seem like something to get bent out of shape over, but that's because the movie doesn't really give me much else to say. Just like Ratchet & Clank, this is just another no-name studio taking pre-existing tropes and cliches attached to characters we've seen already and giving us another forgettable experience. However, Ratchet & Clank is not nearly as much of a bore as this, but that's not saying much. With Ratchet & Clank, you know that it tried to be a movie for the fans, it failed, but knew who it was made for. This movie, again, is based on a turn-of-the-century novel that was taught in middle school. The funny thing is that Robinson Crusoe as a book is very influential. A lot of movies like Castaway, Gravity, and even The Martian owe a deal of gratitude to this book. But you're gonna make a Robinson Crusoe movie where the focus isn't on Robinson Crusoe and instead on these cliche talking animal characters? That's just stupid. So yeah, just like Ratchet and Clank, you got two movies that look like they were direct to DVD coming out into theaters, but these movies bombed, so they didn't make money. Unlike another movie with similar qualities. In case you're wondering, yeah, they're still making these movies. Kinda hard to believe that I used to like this franchise. What's funny is how I gave up after the second sequel, and yet somehow this franchise comes back every few years to say, "Hi guys, remember me?" Continuity? Forget about it. Let's run through the premise of each of these films. The first movie features a mammoth who goes on an adventure learning about the true meaning of friendship while saving a child to help him cope with his lost family. The second movie features the mammoth discovering that he still has a chance to have a family with another mammoth. The third movie, he and his friends find dinosaurs. The fourth movie, they fight iceberg pirates. The fifth movie, they have to redirect a meteor with the help of Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's in the mind of a possum. Okay, reasonable. I can go with it, except for one thing. When the f did this franchise turn into Star Trek? What's gonna happen next? Manny has to save Sid the Sloth from Klingons? The biggest irony to these movies, getting more over the top and silly, goes to the best thing this franchise had going for it, the Scrat. Ever since Blue Sky has been making shorts with the character doing wackier things, the filmmakers get the brilliant idea to include the other characters in these shenanigans. Except, they're not. And they try to tie in the quote-unquote serious elements that don't work. But I guess the joke's on me because it still manages to make enough money at the box office to profit. What gives me relief is to see that money go towards other Blue Sky animated films like the Peanuts movie. However, it gives me no satisfaction to see it go back to these films. These movies need to die like the extinct species these movies came from. Here it is, folks. The #1 worst animated film of 2016 is... Who can that be? Look everybody, it's the worst animated movie of 2016. Say hello to Norm of the North. I brought him all the way here from LA just so I could tell him that you are the worst thing ever to his face. I hate you, Norm. You represent everything bad about animation. Your existence is the bane of mine. I could spend a few minutes talking about it, but to be honest with you, I don't. 2 minutes, a half a minute, is just not enough time. You're getting a full review, Norm. You're getting a full review so I can tell the world that you're trash. You're the trash that trash throws away. In fact, I did my part. I let you take my money. I let you come here so I could tell you that. So, get out of my house. What are you still doing here? Go. Question for the day. Is that the worst animated movie of the year? It probably is. Comment and let me know. I'm Joey Tedesco, and thanks for watching this review.